Okay, so I was just looking at your answer for the major minor axis, the endpoints, and you have it reversed. So all of your points are right. I bet when you graphed it, you got exactly this graph. It's just -1, 3, and -1, 5, -5. Those two are the major, and you have them in the minor boxes. And then the -4, -1, and the 2, -1 are the minor ones. So you just have the major and minor points swapped when you enter the answer. For anyone else watching this video, let me catch them up real quick on how I got to here, and then I'll show you the how to find the foci in just a second. So the original problem we were given is right here. So I found my HK, or my center, is at -1, -1. So I graphed that right there. The big number, remember, for ellipses is the semi-major axis, and then the smaller number, it's actually squared, but the minor axis. And the big number is under the y this time, which means our major axis is going to run parallel to the y-axis. So from the center, for the major axis, we count up 4 boxes, and that gets us our first of our the endpoints of the major axis. And then from the center, we count down 4, and that gets us the second one, the vertex, or the major vertex. For the minor vertices, that would be 3, so I counted right 3 and left 3, and then just read those points directly off the graph. The last thing we need to do for this problem is find the foci. And I have A and B, so let me hop over to the whiteboard here. So we knew that A was 4, and B was 3. So A squared minus B squared is C squared for an ellipse. And that's 16 minus 9, so that makes 7 is C squared. So now we know that C is square root of 7. And square root of 7, for purposes of my graph here, is about 2.6. So let me pop over to the graph now. And so remember that the foci lie on the same axes as the major vertex and the major axis. And so for here, we start from the center, and what we need to do is that distance that we just found, that root 7, or 2.6, we have to count up 2.6, and that would be the location of the first focus, and then we count down 2.6, that's the location of the second focus. And so graphing those isn't too difficult when you kind of think of it as this decimal, but writing those as ordered pairs is a little bit tricky. So let me make that smaller so I can have both those open at once. So when we're looking at these points, everything is happening along at x equals -1. So that's going to be the first coordinate, for my center, for the major vertices, and the foci. So the x-coordinate on those is just going to be -1 in both cases. And then what we're doing is we're starting here at the center, which also happens to be -1, but this is the -1 on y. And we're going up root 7, and we're also going down root 7. So my first point would be -1, -1 plus root 7, and my second point is -1, and then starting at -1 minus root 7. And then that would be where the foci are. And what this is essentially this is just that -1 plus 2.6, which should put me at about 1.6 right there. And this is -1 minus that 1.6, which should put me about -2.6. And let's see, did that work? Oh, -3.6, sorry, it's late. There we go, I could do arithmetic. 1, 2, 3, and then 0.6. But this is the way that we have to write it for the exact form, because that decimal I'm using is just an approximation. Hopefully that cleared that up.